Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Jeffrey and welcome to the free training. I want to thank you all for, joining me today for this free training on sales funnels for e-commerce in 2019. And let's get right to the content. I don't want to waste too much of your time. So, before we begin, I want to kind of define who you are, Most likely if you're checking out this PowerPoint and this training, you're a current business owner of an existing e-commerce store. Either that or you're thinking of getting into e-commerce but still learning the ins and outs of e-commerce and how it works. But then again, you have heard the concept of dropshipping and how it works, and you know about it and you want to get into it. And you're also aware that it's also getting increasingly competitive to run ads in the front end and acquire customers. We'll actually talk about more of this later on. And actually, as well, you might have found me through my YouTube channel, or I might have been running some paid ads on this PowerPoint and this free training. Hopefully we're getting the right people, or that tells me, my target is a bit off. But yeah, basically, hopefully you're some of these people. So before we begin, I also want to explain, give myself a little introduction and a bit about me. So why should you listen to me? Because, I've been in the e-commerce game since late 2017, and I've actually seen the industry grow, and rapid changes along the way. And I've seen it change quite a bit over time and saw a lot of people come and go. Some people have made it, but actually the majority of people actually, they haven't really been striving. A lot of people have been quitting along the way. I actually know what works and what doesn't work and what people have been struggling with most importantly. And funnily enough is actually conversion rate being one of them. We'll actually talk about what that is later on, so don't worry. I've also been featured in Oberlo, a sister company of Shopify. A few years ago, they actually were acquired by Shopify. Oberlo is actually one of the biggest apps out there for Shopify, and they actually flew me to to Berlin to interview with them. So you can check out some screenshots I'll provide later on. I also have a YouTube channel as well. Like I said before, sharing all my knowledge for free, and I recently experimented with sales funnels and actually realized the potential and power of it. So I just wanted to provide this free training for you today and share with you all my knowledge and what basically sales funnel is about for e-commerce specifically. So this is just a screenshot of me. As you can see, this is the thumbnail of Oberlo. On Oberlo YouTube channel, they actually have over 150,000 subscribers, so they're pretty established in the e-commerce industry. So this is one of the videos they provided. That's me in the thumbnail. I look kind of silly, but it is what it is. And you can see on the right side here that I was also featured in the Instagram channel of Oberlo as well. So pretty flattering. It was quite an experience to kind of interview them and share my knowledge and experiences with the team. So I'm definitely very happy, and I'm very honored as well that they chose me to fly myself over to interview them. So before we get into the sales funnel, I want to really kind of highlight the conventional e-commerce and dropshipping sales process first. So typically, if you don't already know, when you run ads via Facebook ads or Google ads, you're going to be sending your potential customers to a product page, i.e. landing page. And when you click on that link, they're going to be brought to a product page of the product you want to promote. And usually, people can look around and stuff. We'll talk more about later on. But basically, if they have the product they want in mind, they're going to go to the product page and then later on go to the cart page, usually. And then it'll be the checkout page 1, which usually includes customer information, putting your name, your first name, last name, your address, and then checkout page 2 would be the next page, which brings you to the shipping information. Where do they ship the item to? So your address, your country, your zip code, your number, and all that stuff. And then you have the third checkout page, which is the payment info, which is where you enter your credit card information, your expiry date, your verification code, and all that good stuff. And altogether, there's going to be 5 steps in this process. So an interested customer has to go through a series of 5 steps in total just to make that purchase. Now, that might sound okay to you because that's what people are most used to. But what if I told you that this could be simplified And this is why we're talking about sales funnel and how that could benefit you later on. So one of the common problems I really see in this industry is a couple of things. And I noticed because personally I'm actually in e-commerce. I own a few stores myself and actually feel your pain. So we all share the same experiences and the same problems. So I'm sure you can relate to this somehow. And one of these problems include, but are not limited to, low conversion rates on your store, paid ads with really high cost per impressions, high cost per clicks, low average order value because a lot of people just end up buying the item that you're trying to promote on your ad. So basically, if you don't already know, average order value means the amount of money a customer spends on your store, the average amount of money. There's a typo there. As well as that, people also experience a high bounce rate, which means the percentage of people who have checked out your page but actually left immediately without buying. And last but not least, and that's one of the most common ones, is lots of visitors but no sales. And this could be a lot of things, so we can't really talk about this in this particular training. And basically, the ones I highlighted in red are the ones that are important. For simplicity's sake, let's just assume that you have a good product and a good offer. So you have a good winning product, products people want, and a really good offer surrounding that. For example, buy one, get one, or like a 40%. But obviously, even if you have that good offer, you still want more people to buy. And that is where we'll talk about sales funnels later on. But a lot of people, their biggest issue is really low average order value and lower conversion rates. And this is because it's getting increasingly competitive in the Facebook marketplace as well as the rest of the paid ad platforms. So this is where we're going to talk about sales funnel and how that can benefit you as well. So here we have an example of Gymshark. I actually use Gymshark as an example because I actually like their brand a lot. I used to support their brand a few years back, and it's just they've been growing so much over time, and I just want to use that as an example because it's like the perfect example for e-commerce. So unless you're an established brand like Gymshark, where people already know you, they already have the brand awareness, over 3.5 million followers on Instagram, there's really no need to distract customers from your end goal of running the platform, which in essence is just to bring them to the page and ultimately get them to buy your product, right, that you're promoting. So unless you're really running, some kind of brand awareness campaign, or that's one of your goals, there's really no need to show them a bunch of products like Gymshark. Gymshark can actually get away with that because they actually have a lot of, they have a lot of awareness as well to begin with, and people already know that they sell other products as well that are related. So if you're just starting off, people don't know your brand or your store, there's really no need to show other products at this point. So what if I told you that you can actually pay more to acquire a customer? Wouldn't that be great? Because after all, there's a saying that goes, the business that can spend the most to acquire a customer wins. And that holds true even until now, and especially now in this day because people are actually spending so much, and the rise in costs of paid advertisements means you have to spend more anyway. And this is actually a byproduct of what we'll actually talk about later on, so hang in there. So number two is, what if you could actually simplify the whole sales process for your customer, right? Wouldn't this be a lot easier? And in essence and in theory, increasing conversion rates because it's just so much easier to check out. And third, what if you could increase your average order value, your AOV, which is again the customer spends more per order on average. What if the customer can actually spend more on your store on average, and you can actually afford to pay more? And this ultimately means you can spend more to acquire a customer because the same customer is spending more on your store, which means you have more of a budget to acquire that same customer. So what if you can actually achieve all these three things? And this is where a sales funnel actually comes in. So if you see on the left side here, this is basically an example of a typical digital marketing sales funnel, where you have an awareness level, you have an interest funnel, a decision funnel, and an action funnel. So awareness funnel is basically you're running ads, you're driving traffic to your page or something, a product service you want to promote, either through content marketing, social media, pay-per-click, paid advertisements, SEO, or PR, stuff like that, just to get that word out there and for people to check out your product or service, which is why we call it awareness. This is actually the top of the sales funnel because most people are actually in this group of in this group and funnel. And then later on, you kind of tell them what your product is about, through landing pages and stuff like that, free tools, retargeting and stuff like that. They got to know more about your product or service, and this is where you actually capture their interest, and they're actually considered a prospect now at this point because you've kind of gained their interest and they want to know a bit more. And then later on down the funnel, you're gonna have decision where you're gonna have sales pages, different offers, maybe some trust badges and stuff, some trials they can try out, email marketing, stuff like that. And this is an opportunity for you to really sell your product. And this is their kind of their process that they go through to decide whether they want to go ahead with the offer or not. And then down as well, the lowest down, the bottom of the funnel, we have action, which is people who are actually taking action for the product or service, taking up the offer and want to take the product or service you're promoting. So this is where you set up your payment systems, your shopping carts, reviews, and then you can actually offer referrals as well. So in e-commerce terms, in the scenario of e-commerce, someone will check out your product, right? This is where you show them what it is, how it benefits them, what it's about, stuff like that. So this is the awareness, getting them more interested in the product itself and how they can benefit the product essentially. Then later on, you'll get them interested. You show them your offer. This is where you'll make them show interest. And then later on, once you've captured their interest and their attention, you'll actually give them more complementary products. This is what we call an upsell or a cross-sell. And then you might sell them something they might like as well. So you can either offer them the same product or a complementary product. This is where they're already in the decision stage. And then later on, they perform action, which is you get the sale, they buy from your store, and it's a win-win situation. They're sold, they perform the action, and everyone's good to go. Now in this case, we're going to talk about ClickFunnels because it's probably one of the easiest softwares out there and one of the most effective in my opinion, because they actually include a bunch of funnels, including e-commerce. So we'll talk about more about ClickFunnels in this particular training. So what is the difference mainly between traditional and contemporary sales process? Well, we're going to look through it in 4 different criteria, which is going to be conversion rate, average order value, AOV, the bounce rate, as well as simplicity. So in terms of these 4 metrics and criteria, which one would be the best and what is the difference, right? So conversion rate, in theory, having a sales funnel can actually be higher in conversion rate just because it's an easier process and there's not much distractions. So as you saw before in the screenshot of Gymshark and that product page, you see how there's a bunch of product pages, a bunch of other products related products, a bunch of categories on the top, for example, women and menswear. And underneath those categories, there's like different clothes, different jackets, different yoga pants and stuff like that, right? Different subcategories. So there's a lot of distractions going on. And as well as that, it's just a long process to go through. So in the second slide that we've gone through, the traditional sales process, people have to go through a 5-step process just to go through a checkout. So in theory, if you think about a sales funnel, which we'll talk about later on, it should be an easier process because, first of all, we'll talk about later on, usually, processing and payment also only involves about 1 to 2 step process, so it's a lot easier. So in theory, conversion rate should be a lot higher that way as well. And then we have average order values. So average order value, obviously both can be effective. If you're running a Shopify store, you can use different apps like, volume discounts, frequently bought together. There's nothing wrong with that. But, if you bring people through a sales funnel process, you can actually upsell customers while they're, enter their card information and once they're sold already. So it's kind of like they're different stages down the funnel. They're already in the decision stage and showing interest. So the upsell process that way will make it a lot more effective because they just have more buying intent compared to if they just land to your product page where they're kind of ambivalent whether they want to buy or not, right? So for a sales funnel, on the other hand, you can actually upsell customers as part of the process and also in just one click. So you can just either click yes or no, which is what I really like about sales funnel because it's just binary. It's just yes, no, do you want it? Yes, no, buy or not buy, right? And then we have bounce rate, which is, as we said, sales funnel is just buy or not buy. So interested customers will actually stay, and then uninterested customer will actually leave. So those people who kind of clicked on the link that you provided, the product page or the landing page, chances are they already have an interest in the product you have to offer. So the bounce rate in theory should be a lot lower just because there's less distractions, and then they already have that buying intent or interest in the product. So it should be a lot higher on the funnel as well. Now, last but not least, we have simplicity, which is how easy it is to navigate, and how efficient it is, how effective the sales process is. So in theory, sales funnels could actually the process can actually be a lot easier, and it's just a lot more efficient because it really minimizes distractions, which we talked about just now. And just because you don't have a lot of upsells and related product pages and different categories that people can check out, so not only is your bounce rate a lot lower, but also you're actually getting them to focus on just the product you have to offer and only present them one thing at a time, which is really effective because your main purpose of driving conversion campaigns, especially with Facebook ads, is to get them to buy the product and nothing else. You don't want them to check out other products, you don't want them to check out other subcategories, and you don't want them to see other related products. Even though it's good for upsells, that's not your intent. So if we look at the numbers as well, let's just assume everything is constant for simplicity's sake, right? You have a selling price of $25, which is pretty usual nowadays on Facebook ads. Any lower, then it's going to be pretty hard. Let's say for cost of goods, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. It's about $8, so you have a 3x markup, which leaves you a pretty healthy margins. But then again, you have other costs affiliated with those, such as shipping costs. Usually $3 is a kind of a safe amount to say. You have, of course, the cost to acquire a customer, which usually is going to be at least $10 for Facebook ads, or even more, especially since the competition is rising for Facebook ads. And then you have the transaction fees from either Stripe, from PayPal, or from Shopify themselves. And just, of course, they have to make money because you're using their platform, you're using their services, so they have to take just a small cut from your revenue. So how much are you left with? So let's do the math here. 25 minus 8, minus 3, minus 10, minus $2. You're actually left with about $2 profit. So not much when you think about it in the front end because with all these costs associated. Now let's look at the contemporary way where we're going to be using contemporary sales funnels. They're going to be taken through a series of steps. So for example, they're going to have an order from. You're going to be paying for the promoted item. So let's say it's $25, the same one as the one we mentioned before. And then what we could do is provide a first upsell, where they can either say yes to the yes offer or no to the offer. So the first upsell could be you can offer the same item. So let's say the same fishing rod or whatever you're selling, same posture corrector or whatever. So the first item you can sell for $25. The second one in the upsell you can sell for something cheaper, which we'll talk about later on, the particular strategy that I'll share later on. And then thirdly, you're going to have the second upsell, where they just click yes or no, whether they want it or not. So this is where you can actually offer them a complementary product. For example, if you're offering them a fishing rod or some kind of fishing equipment, you can actually offer a fishing bait or anything else that can be complementary or that goes well with the item you're promoting. And let's just say for simplicity's sake, you're going to have 2 upsells. And then let's just say they take both of those offers because they're just adding about $10 to $15 more, so it isn't too much to ask. And then they'll be taken to the confirmation page. Now, if you actually include all those together, you're going to have $55 in revenue compared to $25, which we saw in the traditional way using the Shopify method. And $55 is from the selling price of $25, the item, the same item for $15, and the complementary product for $10, which is average order value of $55. And then let's say the cost of goods is about $18 because you're selling 2 products. Let's say it's about $8, so $16 for the first upsell and the original item. And then let's say the complementary product is about $2 to $3. So your cost of goods would be about $18. Shipping usually will be the same, so $3. Transaction fees should be the same as well because it's still just one order, so $2. And let's just say you're spending the same amount to acquire a customer, $10. The major difference here is you're left with $22 profit, which is $20 profit more in the front end, which you could use later on to acquire more customers. So that's really effective if you think about it, because you're already gaining $20 more in profit just to acquire a customer, and you're not even considering the backend stuff like email marketing and just getting them to buy again, getting them to convert on your store right again, buy other products through your campaigns and your newsletters and stuff like that. So you can see how powerful these things are. So actually now I want to show you a really effective funnel strategy that really converts well, specifically for e-commerce. And this is actually the secret sauce, the funnel that I'm using now. And people actually pay for this sort of information. And in this free training, congratulations if you're getting it this far. You're actually getting this for free. So I hope you implement it as well as soon as you can. And screenshot if you also need to, because this is actually pretty important stuff, and I pretty much laid it out in a very simple fashion, so it's very easy for you to understand. So first of all, we have the landing page, the sales page, or what we call the order form, where they enter their credit file information, their shipping information, all that good stuff. After they've gone through to this order page or order form, they're going to be taken to the OTO number 1. OTO is called one-time offer, which is basically where you'll promote a product that is similar or the same as the product that you're promoting. So usually this upsell is the same item, but you can actually offer them at cheaper price. So for example, you're offering $25 for a fishing rod. What you could do in the first upsell is just to offer the same fishing rod but a lot cheaper, like 30% off. So for example, you're going to be offering them at $15 or $20. It's super easy whether they want to take up the offer or not, because they just click yes or no. Yes, I want to include this, or no, I do not. So if they decline it or if they accept it, they're going to be taken to the second upsell offer, which is the one-time offer number 2. And this is where you present them with complementary products or similar items. So you could use fishing baits, as we mentioned just now, or like a fishing bag, stuff like that, or just similar items. For example, like a fishing rod extension. And I don't know too much about fishing, but I hope you get my idea here, what I'm trying to say. So you can really upsell people something that's really related, and other items that people can actually use in tandem with the product that you're kind of promoting. And this is where the one-time offer number 2 comes in, the second upsell. And then later on, no one really talks about this, but you can actually upsell them on a continuity program. And what this is basically a subscription program where they can actually get billed monthly, and in return, you actually give them something of value. So for example, in some kind of like starter pack or subscription pack, like a bunch of stuff you need for fishing, like you need the fishing bait, the fishing rods, the fishing bags, extra bait, other accessories as well that you need, and peripherals. So you're gonna actually package them into one little box here, and this is where they can actually opt in. And the good thing here is you can actually get paid. You can actually generate revenue on autopilot. So every month you're gonna be billing them $25, $35, $45, or maybe even like $100 if they see the value in it every single month. So can you imagine how strong it is? If you have 30 people already in their subscription plan of yours at $50 a month, you're already getting 1.5K in revenue on autopilot. So you can see how strong it is. And this is something that not a lot of people talk about, and it's going to be really effective if you're running paid ads on the front end. It can really help you with your profit margins and your ability to acquire more customers at a higher cost. And then later on, we'd have the order confirmation. So you can see in this sales funnel that we actually are including 3 different upsell offers. So first one is the upsell, same item. Second one is going to be the complementary product or similar product. And then third, we have the continuity program, where you can get sales and revenue on autopilot. So another bonus for you is you can actually create a synergy. And what this means is you're going to be getting the best of both worlds. And this is going to be a bonus for you for staying until the end. So congratulations for staying to the end. And so basically what you're going to do is just have a Shopify store and have an effective sales funnel. So the sales funnel, as we mentioned, is going to act as a kind of a platform to acquire new customers in a more cheaper and effective fashion. So this is where you're going to create sales funnels to create high converting sales pages, as we mentioned before and we talked about in the sales funnels that we talked about, including upsell offers, continuity programs, and stuff like that. And then as well as that, you can actually open a Shopify store, some kind of storefront to create and build more brand awareness. And this is where you're going to be linking this storefront to your social media pages for more organic traffic and repeat customers. So for example, let's say you've acquired the customer already, people bought from you, and you want to get them to kind of buy from you again. So what you can do is actually, once you already have that email in your email list, you can actually send a newsletter out or send some kind of email to all your buyers saying, hey, we actually have other items as well. And this is where you link them your main store, which is, for example, www.fishingreels.com or like your awesome fishing reels. And this is where you can actually get them to buy from your main store again. And then this is going to be really effective because this is where you'll pretty much just get free revenue without basically free traffic because you already acquired that customer to buy more from you, more revenue from your existing customers. And you can see how effective this is because you don't have to pay a dime for paid advertisements. You already have the existing customers in your list. And this is why a storefront can actually be really powerful and why you should create a synergy and really have the best of both worlds. So for example, in Gymshark in this case, you're going to have a storefront. As you can see on the top right, this is Gymshark's storefront, their front page. You have their main logo. And at the same time, you can also be running your order form, your sales funnels to kind of collect more leads, more customers that way, and acquire, better profit margins as well in the process. So we're going to be doing that through ClickFunnels as well. So you can see on the top left screenshot, the bottom left screenshot is an example of an order form. And this is where you're going to acquire the customers and increase your average order value as well as your conversion rate. So now I want to offer you a free course that could really help you on ClickFunnels, specifically for e-commerce. This is, again, it's completely optional, but it's really going to help cut your learning curve in half. I actually had to learn everything myself, but I even spent hours upon hours learning, testing stuff, implementing, and figuring things out. So what you'll get from this course basically is just over-the-shoulder training on everything, including how to create your sales funnel for e-commerce, what each of them mean, what they do, its features, and stuff like that. Adding products to your funnel so people can actually buy from you. Integration of proper software is required and actually getting paid, getting your payouts, what kind of payments to use, how to actually implement a subscription plan so you can actually generate revenue on autopilot. And as well as that, I want to share with you an e-commerce funnel checklist just so you don't miss out on any information because for all my experience, I realized that there's actually a lot of factors that can contribute to your sales funnels not working. And I want to make sure you actually have everything in place before you run advertisements to your particular funnel because that is really important as just one small thing can drastically decrease your sales, either that or not get any sales at all. So for the total, for all the things you're getting, there's going to be a value easily over $500. But what I'm offering today is just a price of $25, and that's all I ask. And you'll be getting all of this, and you can even ask me, questions in Instagram, and feel free to DM me on like our Facebook groups or YouTube as well. So all I'm asking is $25 to cover all of that. I spent hours trying to record these videos, and you get all of that just for $25. I also wanted to add that regardless of whether you want to take the course or not, I'm actually going to be giving away to you a free funnel that you could use right away. It's basically a plug-and-play system where all you have to do is just edit your information on like the specific product that you're trying to test and the kind of upsell offers that you want to do, the kind of products that you want to offer, and the continuity program that you want to implement. But basically all the structure is really there. All you have to do is change the images around, change the text and the fonts and whatever you want as well. So let's go through them really quick. First, we have the order form here. We're going to check this out. So basically, it's just going to be something like this. So you got the product here, blah, blah, blah. This helps solve the problem. You're going to replace this image with your own. And you can change the colors here, of course. This will be actually mentioned in the course, the paid course that we'll offer, which is $25. We're going to change the color to different fonts, and then this is where the customer will enter the payment information, and then you can talk more about the product itself or service. You don't really have to use these if you don't want to. You can just keep it to one page like this if you want to, and then stuff like that, and then another call to action here, and then you have the legal stuff right here. And this is where you can change your logo as well as the top here. So this is going to be the order form. Then we have the upsell page. Basically, we're going to offer them something similar. So in this order form, it's going to be basically a one-time offer where they either accept the offer or they won't. So you can see here, yes, I'll need the product, or no thanks, I don't need this now. Basically, you can just use the same product but offer it at a lower price. So for example, if you're offering the item for $25, you can sell it for $15, like or 40% lower or 30% lower. It's just to increase your average order value if you want to do that as well. So all you have to do is just change the images around, change the text that's more congruent with the font you'll go with, the different color schemes if you want to. I would just go with black and white. In my opinion, it's the most simple. Obviously, change your logo and stuff. And this is going to be the first one. So after that, it's going to be the cross-sell. In this case, it's just going to be exact same, but basically what you would do is you're just going to go and edit the page, and then you would just change up the obviously the logo and the fonts, but also just the captions and the headlines saying, oh, other people also bought this as well. Do you want to add the phishing bait to your product? And this is where you're going to show them the offer that you want to cross-sell the item with. And then later on, we have the continuity program. For example, you can offer them some kind of free trial for the first 30 days, or bill them $5 for the first month, and then later on charge them $25 a month in continuity every single month. And this is where the recurring revenue comes in, where you'll get upwards of 2K, 3K, 4K, even 5K revenue just on autopilot. And then last but not least, we have the order confirmation, where we'll basically show them that the order is now complete. This is all dynamically updated, so it's going to say here, you've bought this item for this amount. So we bought the fishing rod for $40. It'll say the price here, and then you have some upsell options right here, which you can edit out. You don't have to include it. And then you can include your social media stuff here, change the color scheme, change the links, and then your own logo once again. As well, you can change the support email on your number and all that good stuff. So very customizable, but basically the template is already all laid out for you. It's basically just plug and play, enter your own information, and then you're good to go from there. So I want to leave you guys with the statement that 99% of e-commerce sellers actually quit within the first year or so of being in business. So I want to ask you a question. Do you want to be the 1% that actually succeeds? Because I sure want to, and that's why I'm doing it, and I think you should too as well, and I think you want to do it. And there's a few reasons why they quit. One of them being because they're losing so much money already in the front end because of the rise in competition, their lack of knowledge in Facebook ads, and the lack of strategy. They can't pay for themselves and enjoy themselves because they have to constantly monitor their ads, and they're losing money in the process. As well as that, they always worry about spending too much on Facebook ads to acquire customers. They might not have the budget. So this is where ClickFunnels and sales funnels will really come into play. So I want to leave you with this fact here, and I want to let you decide what kind of decision you want to take and whether you want to take control of your life or not. So anyway, I want to thank you all for going through this training with me, and hopefully you got some value and really understand what ClickFunnels is, sales funnels are, and how effective they could be for your Shopify and your e-commerce store. So thank you all for tuning in today. And if you want to check out the course, there'll be a button somewhere to purchase, and then we'll send you the link to the course straight away.